All right, guys, I'm going to talk to you about Aldebaran today from the house of Marc-Antoine Barrois, created by Quentin Bisch. Just keep in mind, I did a video recently of probably many fragrances created by Quentin Bisch. If you didn't catch that video, please go catch it. It's a long-form video, and I did not feature Aldebaran. It was shot before I started testing this one out, and I wanted to get this video out about this fragrance as well, because I smelled it back in October of 2024 during duty-free show in Cannes in the south of France. Actually, I'm going to cut to a video that I shot with Marc-Antoine Barrois as well. So you're going to get to see that video. Plus, this video, I'm going to talk to you about Aldebaran, and I'm going to connect it to some other fragrances that Quentin Bisch has created as well. So find out about all of these awesome fragrances, including Aldebaran, coming right up. Thanks so much for tuning in. It's Sebastian talking to you about the latest release from Marc-Antoine Barrois called Aldebaran. So the first time I got my nose on this fragrance was in October of 2024. I was told I can't talk about it. It was at not an event, but a meeting with the brand. And that's where I shot a video with Marc-Antoine Barrois. So if you want to hear him speak about fragrances, we'll cut to that video as well after I talk to you about Aldebaran. But I've got 3 other fragrances here that are created by Quentin Bisch, and I have a connection between all of them, and I'm going to point those out as well. But Aldebaran is a 2025 launch, but as I said, I smelled it in 2024. My instant reaction was not positive. I have to be honest about that. So I got this overdose of creamy tuberose and then overdose with something peppery, smoky, leathery. I've been testing it out for the video, and I am enjoying it a lot more than my first reaction, but I haven't been completely sold on it, and I'm going to tell you why in this video. But this is a 2025 launch. It's created by Quentin Bisch over at Givaudan. I would call it a floral spicy fragrance, 100 ml for $280, and there's a 30 ml for $170. The notes for this are tuberose, mate, tonka beans, and pimento. And the pimento is what's giving us the spice, because it's quite peppery, and it literally smells like hot, spicy peppers that you would eat, but in smell form. But that's also, to me, converting it to smell leathery and smoky, because hot, spicy, smoky kind of all go together. And that's the experience I get from this fragrance when I wear it. But since I smelled it first, and now that I've been testing it, I am opening up to it more. I am enjoying it more. And it's also connecting me to other fragrances from Quentin Bisch. Quentin Bisch, he's created some other fragrances that remind me of one another. And I'm going to give you a little bit of the connection here. But before I do that and tell you a little bit more about Aldebaran, what do you get from Aldebaran? Do you enjoy it? I feel like it's a bit polarizing. I think it's an acquired taste for sure, but I've tested it quite a bit now. I wouldn't call it uber beast mode, but since it's tuberose and I get a lot of vintage vibes from a lot of tuberose fragrances, I mentioned in the past that I get a lot of classic vibes and vintage vibes from tuberose being featured. And for me, one of the most modern ones is Carnal Flower, which seems connected with coconut. It makes it a very modern fragrance. This, to me, the tuberose is also kind of creamy, but also a little green, and for sure takes me to a bit more of a vintage territory. But I think the utilization of the pimento in here is giving it a more modern effect, while at the same time smelling the tuberose giving me a bit classic vibes. But the pimento is quite smoky and leathery for me, and it stands out and contrasts the tuberose so much. In addition to the greenness of the tuberose, there's a creamy aspect about it, usually common and typical of white flowers. A lot of the white flowers, like magnolias, tuberose, gardenias, there's definitely a creamy effect, which kind of goes into a little bit of a lactonic effect. But I wouldn't call this a lactonic fragrance. It's just you're experiencing how creamy the tuberose here is. So this is when I started testing it out. The first reaction in the meeting with Marc-Antoine was, whoa, what is this fragrance? So sometimes when you react to fragrances that you haven't smelled before, it's not necessarily positive. You're uncertain about it, and you might think that's the only time if you smelled it and you react so negatively to it. And I think people jump to the conclusion that it's a really bad fragrance. But I've given this one chance, and even though I'm not enjoying it 100%, I'm liking it, not loving it. It's not a fragrance I would pull for to wear a lot. I like the greenness of the tuberose, and I also like this creaminess of the tuberose. It's when it's contrasted with that spicy pimento, which to me acts a bit smoky and leathery. There's a charred experience. That's what's bothering me instead of that gorgeousness of the tuberose itself. On skin also, it's not the super strongest fragrance. It's a bit airy, transparent. Maybe at that time I'm thinking, okay, it's kind of giving me a similar airiness that Ganymede has from Marc-Antoine Barrois. But for me, I much prefer Ganymede over Aldebaran. Aldebaran is certainly an acquired taste, and I can see that it could be very polarizing. But do let me know what your thoughts are on Aldebaran. Add a comment below. Let me tell you some more things about Aldebaran. So when I started testing Aldebaran, I thought about the tuberose in Tubereuse Astral, which guess who created it is Quentin Bisch again. I'm going to talk to you about 4 fragrances here that I see a connection with. And because they're all created by Quentin Bisch. One is by Maison Crivelli, which is Tuberose Astral. Another one is created by Quentin Bisch, but it's from the house of Galion. It's called Tilleul. And then we're going to touch on Tilia as well from Marc-Antoine Barrois. But Tuberose Astral is created so differently. The pimento is bothering me in Aldebaran, and with what they've done in Tuberose Astral, it's exciting me. Does that make sense? Whereas you have a fragrance that's inviting, is calling you, wear me, wear me, wear me. I don't get that effect from Aldebaran, unfortunately. That's not the kind of fragrance it is. It's an acquired taste, and the pimento is for sure challenging me, challenging my nose, challenging everything about it. So it doesn't create an inviting experience. Whereas, again, Tuberose Astral, super awesome, similar tuberose, but created in a different way. The Tuberose Astral has cinnamon bark, tuberose, osmanthus, carrot seeds, cistus absolute, musks, and vanilla. So there's a little bit more happening here. And I would say that Tuberose Astral and Aldebaran are not typical Quentin Bisch DNA fragrances. What do you guys think? Do you see his signature in these fragrances? Maybe I think more with Tuberose Astral than with Aldebaran, but I don't find his like trademark signature in these 2 fragrances as much as, you know, something like Bois Imperial or Ganymede or B683 and things like that. But for me, also Tuberose Astral, it is an extrait de parfum. It's so much more intense, so much more loud, projection amazing, and compliments galore. Whereas Aldebaran, I didn't get any compliments the times I've tested it, which I don't know if it's that pimento that's turning people off or not making it inviting, because for me, it's not inviting, which kind of makes it similar to other people as well, right? I think if a certain smell is not inviting, then they're not going to react positively to it. Whereas with Astral, Tuberose Astral, very inviting. And again, people have complimented on how great it smells. But also, I think it could be due to the fact that it's so much more potent than Aldebaran. Maybe that's also creating a reaction with people. I don't know. But this is what I get with the Tuberose Astral. But here, going to Tilleul by Galion, I did that Quentin Bisch fragrances video. I think it was 76 different fragrances from the guy. There's this connection with the notes. And when I pulled this Tilleul out, Tilleul means linden blossom, by the way, and Tilia is also a linden blossom fragrance. I got the connection of the DNA. I never thought of Tilleul having similarities to Aldebaran, but I also felt like it had similarities to Tilia. But then also, when you remove the honey that's in Tilleul, I am getting something very fleur narcotique-like from the house of Ex Nihilo. So it's linden blossom, but it's done in a way that reminds me of Fleur Narcotique, even something like Van Cleef & Arpels Neroli Amara, but overdosed with honey, because with Linden Blossom, you do get a honeyed effect, but Quentin Bisch has added also more honey in it to accentuate the honeyness. You really pick it up here. If you like honey and fragrances, you're going to love this, especially if it's meshed with the floral notes. And Linden Blossom is, again, a gorgeous flower, really beautiful smelling, that are, you know, blooming in the late June. And it's a very intoxicating smell. Here, he's captured that with a reminder of the whole, Fleur Narcotique Neroli Amara, but with a linden accord and of course that honey. Super awesome. So Le Galion's Tilleul also does remind me of Tilia, because Tilia is a linden blossom focused fragrance. And I wasn't that excited about it, but I've grown to enjoy it more. And I do have similarities to Tilleul, but you have less honey here, but more minerality of some kind with Tilleul also. But once you remove some of the notes, you kind of like subconsciously remove them from your smell senses, you can kind of pick out that signature of Quentin Bisch and his, fleur narcotique and, this DNA that he's created. I'm a bit challenged with Aldebaran, honestly, but I think the other three fragrances are super gorgeous. And when Marc-Antoine Barrois had come to San Francisco to do an event at ZGO, at that time I found out that he was going to be working on some fragrances that are feminine leaning. And first off, we had the Tilia, of course, and then now we have Aldebaran. But again, the pimento is rubbing me the wrong way, and it makes for, I guess maybe that's what he wanted all along, something that challenges people. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do brands launch fragrances for people to be challenged by, or do they want to make sales? Because I think Aldebaran is very polarizing, at least to me, and from what I've heard from comments. I mean, instantly when I smelled it, that's what I thought. And you react to fragrances differently. You smell something, you really love it. It's the best thing you've smelled recently. You smell something, you're like, whoa, what is that? Why did they do it like that? That bothers me. And I think Aldebaran does bother me. It's just a different and unusual kind of a fragrance. The tuberose in that also reminds me of Nuit de Bakelite. I think it's called Nuit de Bakelite from Naomi Goodsir. So that tuberose is reminding me of that kind of green and creamy, but young tuberose. More a fresher take, not a ripened tuberose. But it's just a pimento that comes in that kind of rubs me the wrong way. But I feel like the fragrances do have the signature of Quentin Bisch, but these fragrances are not as familiar to the Quentin Bisch touch as other fragrances would be. But I think the most would be Tuberose Astral. And then I think Tilleul reminds me of, the Fleur Narcotique and those kind of fragrances. But do let me know your thoughts on the connection of these fragrances. It's created by one perfumer, obviously. And do let me know if you are a fan of Aldebaran. Are you enjoying it? Is it rubbing you the wrong way? Do you like Tilia? And what about Tuberose Astral? Are you enjoying that one? Out of all of the fragrances here, I prefer Tuberose Astral. I just think it works with my chemistry. It's a really awesome fragrance. Really love it. Unfortunately, Tilia and Aldebaran have been... I prefer Tilia more than Aldebaran. I'm going to try and get myself used to the Aldebaran, but it's challenging me quite a bit. But I think out of all of the fragrances here, I really enjoy Tuberose Astral. And I think it's a great fragrance to wear. But let me know your thoughts on the fragrances. And I appreciate you tuning in today to watch this video of 4 fragrances created by Quentin Bisch. And of course, latest fragrance from the house of Marc-Antoine Barrois, Aldebaran. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. And also please click the bell icon. And also don't forget to give a thumbs up for this video for help with the algorithm. Thanks so much. And stick around after the outro. I'm going to have a video with Marc-Antoine Barrois. See you guys later. Bye-bye. Hi guys, it's Sebastian back with another video for you today. I'm in the south of France, in Cannes, for duty-free TFWA show. I've got Marc-Antoine Barrois here with me, and we're going to talk about his fragrances and how he got his start. So if you are curious to discover the brand and you haven't yet, please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Sebastian. This is Marc-Antoine.
Hello, thank you for watching, and thank you, Sebastian, for welcoming me in your iPhone and in your video. So quickly to talk about my fragrance, it was easy when I had only one, but now it's a bit heavier. B683 is my first fragrance. It's the one I created with Quentin Bisch. All my fragrance, I work only with Quentin Bisch, the perfumer, who also became a friend, and it's like it's really a creative symbiosis where I can trust him creating unique fragrances. And when we created B683, was creating our very own best fragrance for ourselves, trying to do something that would stand out of what we see, but with the DNA of a classical old perfume twisted in the 21st century. It's a spicy, leathery, woody fragrance. It's still my signature. I think it's just wonderful.
When did you launch this one?
Was 2016. So
you just
like
launched
8 years
with,
ago.
8 years ago, you launched with one fragrance.
Yeah, one fragrance without knowing that it would become a success and that we would continue to do fragrance. It was just a story of a friendship, like trusting Quentin to understand me and to do what I wanted to do for a fragrance. And the story after that was such interesting to launch this fragrance, such beautiful comments, beautiful feedbacks that we wanted to create a second one. And it's difficult after the one you do for yourself and the one you feel like it's the perfect one for you. So that we had the idea to create the fantasy of who we are, to create the fantasy of a perfect us, a perfect beauty, a perfect, like walking on the concept of, probably working on the concept of perfect beauty, but knowing that perfect beauty for us is not like this cold beauty. It needs also to have a smile. It's beauty is elitist, and sometimes just a smile can make someone so beautiful. So we understood each other, and we created Quentin created Ganymede. Ganymede Eau de Parfum was the game changer for me, because it's basically the beginning of all the light on the fashion house, as me being a couturier before to do perfumes, and the light on it was receiving the Perfume Extraordinaire Award from the Fragrance Foundation, best niche perfume, best unique fragrance. So it was a crazy thing, and until now it still makes lots of people happy. So I'm happy of that. Is part of the things I do for.
So when did you launch Ganymede?
Ganymede was 2019.
Okay.
Slow start, and since then it's a wonderful story.
So it took 3 years to launch a second fragrance after B683, and when you launched B683, Quentin was not as famous as he is now.
No.
Do you think he put by creating Ganymede, it put him on the map, because it seems to be one of the most popular fragrances?
Definitely, Ganymede is one of the milestones of his career, but Quentin is a genius, and he creates like wonderful fragrances also for other brands. And but all the fragrances done for me are, I think, one of the most beautiful is done. But Quentin deserves his career to himself. He's a huge worker. He works a lot. He's completely workaholic, and creating accords, trying all the time to create new things. And when I give him the freedom to express himself I'm not judging him. I'm a blank page in the perfume industry and in the perfume world. I don't judge any of his accord or any of the things. I just smell it and say if I like it or if I don't like it. I talk with emotions that it brings me, but I don't want to talk about the ingredients. He's the master for that. He's the master to bring things together. And sometimes, for example, in B683, there is a hint of vanilla dyeing, and I personally hate the smell of vanilla, but I don't care. The result is there. It's for me, what's beautiful in a perfume is the global painting, not the colors of that have been used for and that is the freedom I can give him.
So when you create fragrances, do you give him a brief? Do you give him photos? Do you give him emotions? How do you start a new fragrance?
Yeah, there's many different ways. It's sometimes it starts by us discussing and thinking, oh, what's the next direction? And sometimes it's him just showing me, oh, look, Marc-Antoine, we were discussing about florals. Here's this accord. What do you think of it? And then from that, my imagination would go. I would translate this into emotions and feelings, telling him about to just driving in the direction to help him to go in a perfume direction for me.
Okay, so after Ganymede, you decided to launch a Extrait version of B683, correct?
Yes, I asked Quentin to do it. Sometimes he comes with a perfume to me, and sometimes I'm coming to him about it, because I was telling him, after wearing B683 for years, my nose, my brain is used to the smell, and I need sometimes something a bit different, but still with the same DNA, because I don't want to change the signature of my olfactive signature. So it was the idea to bring something different, to show another facet of B683, and telling him I'd like to have an extrait of B683, because it's very selfish. It's for me. I'd like to have something in addition, and there basically discussed on the fact that the facet we would like to show would be the leathery fragrance, the leathery side of it. But after it's very quickly him coming to me with this oud and green apple version of it, with this overdose of patchouli, is building the fragrances.
It's also gotten a bit animalic also when you wear it, right? You've amped up. Is it the leather or is it the oud that's in there?
The leather is stronger, but also the oud from Laos. It's a very natural oud that brings this. And Quentin chose it because it brings this animalic side of the oud.
Yeah,
very leathery.
Leathery, yes, for sure. So after the Extrait version of B683, you launched Encelade in 22.
Yes, Encelade. Encelade was 22, indeed. Encelade is the perfume we spent the most time working on it. It's
wow.
Lots of pressure.
After Ganymede, you want to make something as good, right?
Yes, it's after Ganymede, we have the pressure on the shoulders to say we don't want to disappoint. And I think that was maybe a mistake to have this, because we could have done it with much more pleasure than we did. But still, I'm talking with Quentin about this lush jungle explosion of joy. We are working on it during the COVID, this crisis where everyone is standing away from each other. And I'm telling him about how much I want to embody joy and sensuality. It was like a powerful joy, something very unique. And once again, if I had told Quentin Bisch, oh, I would like you to put this ingredients or this ingredients in it, it would not have been this wonderful fragrance. Quentin had the genius to choose rhubarb to put in it as the green starting of it, and then it's a rhubarb vetiver with a smoky leather in it.
It's a bit animalic too.
It's still a leathery fragrance like the others. At this moment of our work together, we focus on having leather and saffron in all of our perfumes. It's the base ingredients on which we build the fragrance.
I see. So up until Encelade, you didn't have any fragrances that were feminine leaning or with feminine notes like floral notes and things like that.
We didn't have floral notes. We had B683, which pleased as much to men than women, older women probably. But I thought perfumes would have a gender, and very quickly I learned that gender is a question of taste and culture, and it's just inviting people and not judging people on what they wear.
Yeah.
But indeed, we did not have any floral. I would say the lightest one we had was Ganymede, with the impression of being light, but still being really deep and really persistent.
But you didn't launch a more floral, feminine-leaning fragrance up until this year. After Encelade, you launched a Extrait version of Ganymede, right?
Yes, that was the same work as with B683, trying to show another facet, much more spicy. Same ingredient. The game that Quentin has done with this was to change the notes and to oppose the notes to what it was before, to make it an overdose of immortelle, something very spicy. I like when sometimes I hear people comparing it to the movie Dune, whereas you see they harvest the spices, and it's indeed as if Ganymede is an ocean blown by an ocean of seawater blown by the winds, and it's very clean and everything. There, the ocean comes to the rocks and it comes to the dunes, and there's much more spices, and it's really hot as a fragrance. It's really warm.
As a fragrance between the original and the Extrait, which version is the more popular? Which version do people prefer more in Ganymede? Is it the original?
Yeah, the original is still the best. Like the original Ganymede is still a great bestseller.
What is it about Ganymede that people really love?
There's many things. There's I'm not saying there's one recipe for that. It's the minerality of the unicity of a mineral leather as the first of its kind, and in the same time it has this freshness, but it lasts. It is a true signature. People recognize you for your signature. I think it's people want when you come to niche fragrance, you look for quality, and you look for something that doesn't last 10 minutes, even if it's fresh.
Yeah.
So finding this freshness mixed with the longevity and the quality of it's really it's a wonderful fragrance. It's in itself, and I love all of my fragrance. I can't tell it's better than another. I wear B683, but all of them are my babies.
Yeah. This year you launched Tilia.
And yes, after that, we were probably expected to do another leathery fragrance, but we wanted to, once again, we had learned what happened with Encelade, but putting too much pressure on our shoulder and trying not to disappoint. And we really realized with the time and also getting older and more wise. That's what's important, is to take pleasure and to enjoy the process of creating it. So no pressure. We wanted to do something to get into a new challenge, and the new challenge was to try to do florals in a different way, in a different manner, with more naturality and bringing other flowers also to the perfumery with the idea and the impression of light. After creating imaginary planets, the idea was to create imaginary stars with the light it brings with it. And so we launched Tilia. So Tilia is the first floral of the house, and it's not any floral, it's a linden blossom. So it's not a flower you used to see in the bouquet, in the vases.
It's a gorgeous flower. Love the smell.
It's kind of honey-like flower that announced the summer in Europe, where it blooms in June, so just before the summer. And when Quentin made me smell this linden accord mixed with broom.
Broom is a flower also.
Broom is another flower. It's
Yeah.
a yellow flower from the seaside. When I smelled this accord, I said, wow, that's incredible. It's just, it makes me think of happiness, of like just a simple happiness in the summer. And so I talked to him about my summers. I talked to him about this, and it just finalized the fragrance, and we decided exactly where to go. But finally, it's a broom flower, a linden, jasmine, and heliotrope. It's a very simple formula, and it's amazing. It really makes people super happy, and I am happy to happy is the word, but I'm happy to share this idea of happiness in a moment where the world is so dark that you might forget that sometimes very simple moment can be the most important.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, you've got 4 original fragrances in Eau de Parfum, and you've got 2 extract. What's coming next?
Well, what's coming next is we've been working on Tilia the same way as we were working on other florals and other flowers. So there will probably be another flower at some point to pop out. It's just a question of time to finalize it and to do it. I always want to take the time to create the fragrances. So I don't want to pressurize Quentin. It's important to do it the right way, and the most, once it's in the bottle, I don't want to reformulate it. I don't want to change it or anything. So it's really important that from the beginning we take the time to be super proud of it. And
Makes sense.
That's it.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate
Thank you, Sebastian,
you.
for coming to visit me in Cannes.
Yeah, it's nice. Look forward to the new releases. Guys, thanks so much for watching today's video with Marc-Antoine Barrois. If you have any questions or comments on the fragrances of this house, add a comment below. Otherwise, please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook. And I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.